Hey guys, listen, a lot of us are fed up with gas and we are considering getting an electric vehicle. And sometimes just the most obvious choice is to get a Tesla because they seem to be everywhere and they look pretty good. But for some of us, Tesla's just not a good choice, whether you are not a fan of Elon Musk, don't like the way they look, or don't necessarily have access to their maintenance department. Maybe you want to consider another vehicle. So I've taken a few of my favorites and showed you how they stack up against Tesla's offering. Let's get into it.
Round one, fight!
So if you're thinking about getting a Model 3, consider the VW ID4. So first off, VW does qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit, which is fantastic. And it comes with 3 years of fast charging from Electrify America. And perhaps that's closer to you than a Tesla fast charging station. I don't know. But there are a few things that I really like about the ID4 that I think that are comparable, in fact, better than the Tesla Model 3. Let me show you what I got. On some level, there is a level of luxury in the ID4 that you don't expect at this price point. Number one, the interior. It feels light, airy, and German, frankly. And sometimes you forget that this thing's only $40,000 because it does feel luxurious in that distinctly VW way. But the real thing that gets you with the ID4 is it just feels good inside. It feels happy, it feels friendly, it feels like you're not scared to be in an EV. And I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but sometimes when you get in an electric vehicle, the Tesla, for example, I felt this with Model S and the Model X, I felt like I was driving the future. Where in the VW ID4, you just feel like you're driving a VW that just happens to be electric. And that is a wonderful thing.
Round two, fight!
If you're thinking about the Tesla Model Y, please think about the Volvo C40 Recharge. Man, I drove this car and I just love it so much. One of the things to think about are its really beautiful interior, the fact that it uses sustainable materials, and that they have all these amazing storage slots on the inside, plus the infotainment is really great. Let me show you what I mean. Now, as you guys know, where Volvo really thrives is in the interior. They always seem to find this perfect balance between things being as complex as you need them to be and as simplified as you want them to be to make them user-friendly. And they seem to execute that so well, and with a design sense that I always really respect because I'm a total design snob. So let me walk you guys through some of the highlights. Number one, this is a leather-free interior. In fact, you cannot get leather at all in the C40 Recharge, which is really interesting, but it will make lots of vegans really happy. This is a sort of synthetic nubuck that I'm sitting on right now. I showed you guys in an earlier video, the XC60 Recharge. They have this wool that's woven with recycled bottles. It's all just really, really cool. And then in the interior, those recycled bottles are also on the carpeted area, which in this model is black, but in other models is actually this beautiful blue that gives you contrast. So another detail I really like is here on the dash, where they have this topographical map of the mountains of Sweden, and it just looks really beautiful. And then at nighttime, that actually lights up, which is a really, really nice detail. The other thing that's cool is Volvo was the first automaker to integrate Google into its system. And a lot of automakers think, oh no, we're gonna make our own infotainment system and we're gonna do our own maps. But as someone who drives a lot of cars, I can tell you that is a nightmare. Leave it to the guys that know what they're doing. And from what I hear, Google kind of understands this technology stuff. So what's cool here is you just basically turn to your car and you can say, hey Google, turn on the driver's seat warmer. And the next thing you know,
turning on the seat heater for the driver.
there it is. And it understands a lot more than a lot of other systems that I've used, which is really nice. And that really helps with navigation, especially if you don't know exactly where you're going. For example, hey Google, take me to the nearest Starbucks.
All right, Starbucks, let's go.
So I don't know about you, but the navigation in my car couldn't handle that. In fact, maybe my phone could handle it, but I want to do everything hands-free while I'm driving, and this enables that, which is fantastic. So what that also does, it makes it so that you can sign in and has all of your Google calendars and your Google Play and all that kind of stuff native to the system, which makes it all a lot easier. Now, in terms of charging, the C40 gets a range of about 223 miles, which I know you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, oh, well, the Tesla gets over 300. That is right, but really on a daily basis, how much range do you really need? You're probably just gonna drive it to and from work and then charge it overnight. And I'm gonna show you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But let's get back to the interior. You'll also notice this enormous moonroof. Now, don't get all excited about this being a convertible because it's not. This thing doesn't open, but it does have a very strong tint. So my friends that are in Arizona, Southern California, New Mexico, you're not gonna get fried with this thing. I might tint it a little bit more after I bought the car, but in general, it just gives it a nice sense of airiness and open, which is fantastic. But indeed, it does not open at all. I want to show you a few more kind of cool details. So one of the things that I've always liked about Volvo are just them thinking through places to put stuff, is what I like to call it. So number one, there's a charging pad right here for your phone, which is pretty standard these days, but what's nice about this is you don't actually have to turn it on. You just place it here and your phone will charge. Fantastic. Okay, the cup holders are logical and a nice size, fantastic. It's got a little compartment right here where you can put garbage or, just stuff. And then the center armrest, which is deep enough to be able to hold something, but unfortunately, probably not a purse. It's also got a little ridge right here where you can put some things, but again, you're not going to do a lot of storage there.
Plus, Volvo C40 Recharge received the highest ranking for the European NCAP safety testing. Check out these crazy crash videos.
Round 3. Fight!
And if it's a luxury sedan you're after and you're considering the Tesla Model S, consider the Lucid Air. This magnificent sedan is built here in the US as well and has many features that surpass the Model S, including longer range and phenomenal handling, and the interior is pretty pimp. Check it out.
So in addition to the beautiful drive, one of the things I really like about this vehicle is the interior. Once I got in for the first time, it reminded me of something and I realized it was Volvo. And that's a compliment for me because I think they have some of the best interiors in the business. And what Lucid has done, which Volvo has done as well as an EV company, is to ensure that they have a nice balance of buttons as well as screens, because a lot of companies, it's a big complaint with Tesla, just has one big iPad in the center and that's all you have, and you don't have enough buttons and it irritates people. There aren't a lot of redundancies here between the buttons here and the buttons here, and once you start going, it's easy to get used to. So I would even say that for an older person looking for a luxurious EV, the Lucid is actually a good choice because it is quite intuitive, very user-friendly, and the support team at Lucid is actually fantastic. That's not to say the Lucid doesn't have party tricks. Let me show you one of my favorites. So let's say somebody comes into your car, she's got a big old purse, and she's like, oh, I don't want to put it by my feet. You're like, really? Would you like to put it in my center console? Oh, I don't know, because now you can. So I think that's cool how this little tablet goes away and comes back. I think that's fantastic. There's also the auto park feature, which I'll show you in a minute. As I said, this is the Touring. So it's got this big glass roof, which has its pros and its cons. It's making this interior really large and spacious and beautiful. I notice it's a little hotter than I would like because it's not heavily tinted. Also, like Tesla, it's got these little baby visors with a little baby mirror, and I just think that's annoying because I'm in Southern California. We have a lot of sunshine, and although I wear my sunglasses, I could use a bigger visor, but that's just me. The majority of the surfaces and touch points in the Lucid Air are very, very luxurious. They have been very conscious of the fact that they are dealing with a high-end customer. Everything from the font on the displays to the noises that the vehicle makes, everything is very sophisticated and refined, which is rare these days in an auto manufacturer, but somewhat necessary at this price point. Who are we kidding?
So there you have it. There are lots of EVs out there, not just Teslas. If you consider one of these cars and ended up buying a Tesla, or if you own a Tesla and wouldn't buy one of these cars, please let me know in the comments. I'm Motorhead Mama, and thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe.